You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good game, Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for The Secret Circle. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Secret Circle news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for The Secret Circle.
Hello! I was totally waiting for like a song to come on because I feel like Jesse used to play us a song, but Phil doesn't because he hates me. But that's all right, Phil. Hello, AfterBuzzers. I am your host, David Schifilliti, for your AfterBuzz show for The Secret Circle. I don't know what I'm saying. I am joined tonight by my co-hosts, my week-to-week co-host, Billy Nilles.
Hi.
Welcome back. And Mia Smith is back.
Hey.
Welcome back, lady. How was your New Year?
Oh, it was so great. And warm, too, to be in Chicago. I was really surprised. Yeah.
Oh. Well, welcome back to LA and welcome back to AfterBuzz. We are on episode 11, Fire and Ice.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was it fiery.
Yep.
Yes.
And icy.
You could have been in the ice, huh?
I didn't get much ice out of the show.
No, I think the ice was like, if you think about it like this, Faye was like an icy bitch.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of iciness.
That's a good way to
right?
go into that. It's just pretty cold.
Pretty cold.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's just jump right in.
Let's do it.
This week was sort of driven by Cassie's storyline, as every week it is, always centrally driven by what's going on with Cassie and what's going on in her world. But we sort of had a little Melissa action this week. We haven't really had a storyline for her, I think, since I think it was either episode 2 or 3, Slither, where she had her own storyline right before Nick died. And this week she sort of is being introduced back to us as a regular.
Right.
And she was more beautiful. I don't know if anyone caught that makeup.
She did look a lot prettier.
Both she and Faye looked much better put together.
Yeah.
They did.
I don't know if someone hair and makeup changed or something. Or
they
maybe
both looked great this week.
They both looked amazing.
I was like,
and Diana looked
they all are looking better.
awesome.
Yeah.
Except for
Cassie.
Cassie.
Yeah.
Cassie week to week is getting worse. I swear to God, they need to fix her freaking extensions.
Yeah.
They drive me crazy.
The thing is, it's not that she's getting worse, but everyone around her is just getting more beautiful, and she's just fading. She's fading in the back.
Yeah. And to be the lead and to be like the pretty blonde.
Right.
I need to fix that.
Right.
Either way, Melissa this week had a little bit of friend drama, we could say, and she's starting to reevaluate her friendship with Faye. Her friendship with Faye.
Right.
Excuse me. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm glad for it.
Me too.
And it was nice to see this sort of backstory on her and Diana having had been friends.
I was completely
before.
unaware of the fact that they were friends before.
We were sort of led to believe that none of these kids were really friends, but they knew that they have this shared power, and that's what brought them together. So it was nice to get a little more of their backstory before Cassie showed up, before they realized they were witches, and that these two girls were friends when they were little, and that, you know, as things do, people grow apart. Friends in
as you get
elementary school
older
aren't always your friends in high school, and things just changed. But it was nice to see that as she is going through this change with her relationship with Faye, that she and Diana are becoming closer again. And I was excited for that because I feel like it's going to bring Melissa back into the fold and make her someone of a higher importance.
A person of interest.
Right.
Yeah, and it was nice to see her like with the group and that you know, Faye's sidekick, but she actually kind of stood alone a little bit.
She sort of had been like brushed to the to the sidelines as a sidekick, even though she was part of the circle.
Right.
And she's at this point standing out on her own and being like, we saw towards the end of the episode that she was like, I have an allegiance to Faye, but at the end of the day, I'm here for the better of the circle, and I'm not your puppy anymore.
And not just that, she, it was just like, I'm not just here for the circle, but I'm here for me. Like, I want to do school activities.
Right.
I want to, get back in contact with my old friends. And it was just, her being about Melissa.
Right. And it was also, very notable that she's sort of becoming afraid of Faye, understandably, after what Faye did this week. She's realizing that this isn't the person who I want to be aligned with. This is not safe for me.
Yeah.
Right, but at the
around
same
Faye.
time, she still has that, she's still my friend and I want to
She's worried
protect
about
her.
her.
Yes.
But
She cares for her.
exactly. But she just doesn't know how to.
To help her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And without
very
being
sad.
mixed up in it.
Right, without getting too involved in the crazy drama of it all, she still wants to help her old friend out.
Right. I would love to see Melissa get like a love interest.
Me too.
Everyone else has got one.
And someone hot,
Everybody
too.
has one, but Melissa. They killed hers off.
Yeah. Somewhere down the road. We don't need it yet, but I do want to see that at some point.
Right. We also did find out that her cousin Holden is gone for good.
Right.
Yeah, they kind of nipped that in the bud real quick.
Right.
He
quick.
came and went.
He came and went. He had one episode,
What
4 lines.
What was so funny was the way that Diana asked about Holden this week, and we haven't seen Holden for literally 5 episodes. And she's like, "Hey, is Holden around so I can take him to the dance?" Like, no, have you seen him in the past month of your life?
And how random is that? Because they were just dancing upon each other like those 5 episodes ago, and you didn't get his number. You have no idea that he left town.
I know.
None of that even crossed my
It was
mind.
just such a lazy.
It's the CW.
It was obviously like such a lazy way, but they had to do it that way.
Right, they had to-
establish that he's gone.
Right.
But it
and
just
not
was
coming back.
So lazy.
Because apparently when he came back, he was like, I'm taking a semester off school. And this
Semester's
week,
over.
semester's
Came and
over,
went.
apparently. That was 6 months that went by really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
No more.
Bye, Holden.
No
we
way.
hardly knew ye.
Yes. Sorry that you had to leave.
Oh well.
Oh, well. There goes Diana's
He wasn't
love
really that
interest.
hot anyway. He didn't really
No, he
fit
did-
in
he
with
did
the rest of the
nothing for
group.
me.
But they made a huge to-do about bringing him in. They were
did.
like, there's a new character being introduced. It's Melissa's cousin. Who knows what's going to happen with him? And he was like, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I think there was just enough that I don't know if it was a casting mistake, if there was some
Clearly.
sort of obviously, but it was very weird that they made such a big deal about that character and then
And the actor.
for it to literally have been nothing.
Right.
There was like it was no cohesion. It didn't fit. Like it just was like trying to shove your hand into your shoe. Like it didn't make any sense. He like had no place there.
While your foot is in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can stick your hand in your shoe pretty easily.
But it would feel
But you
weird.
can't, right? It's not.
That's true.
You're not gonna walk around with shoes on your
Shoes on your
hands.
feet?
Shoes
I
on
mean,
your hands.
on your hands? Yes.
Making up
Tongue-tied
metaphors.
today.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm with you.
This
I'm with
is
you, brother.
AfterBuzz TV Gold.
Yep.
Okay. We are
That's gonna be on
putting
shirts
words
next week.
into the Urban Dictionary.
Speaking of gold, this
As
is
we
very
speak.
random, but look at that shiny bracelet you have
This is
there.
my fire and ice right here on my wrist.
I like it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
But speaking of fire and ice, Faye,
Oh,
the big bitch in town, is back.
Yeah.
We've seen her since the circle was bound, trying to get her own magic back. Her like what do you call it? Her single magic?
I think
don't know,
that's
but,
what
like,
they refer
Solo
to.
magic.
her solo magic. Thank you. So she's been trying to get her solo magic back since
she couldn't open her lock.
exactly. Like it is the only thing that's been on her mind, which is what has been driving Melissa a little crazy and been driving like Melissa and Faye apart.
Right.
Is that Faye has had this one track mind as to how she's going to get it back, and she's sort of found a way with Lee.
Right. I mean, she's really been like a dog with a bone with this from the minute the
From
show
the get-go.
started.
Yeah.
You have
That's
metaphors.
all-
They're
That's
great.
literally the entire propulsion of this character has been get my magic.
That is
Have
it.
my magic, be the most powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Who can I hurt with it? Who can I claim with it?
And what's so interesting is, like, in the past couple of episodes, I think before we went to break, the first couple of episodes, right before that, did a great deal to sort of humanize Faye. And as we've come back from break, we've pulled away from that. And I don't know if it was just as it's its first season, they're trying everything and seeing what works, and they're realizing they do need a propulsive teen villain, and she fits that for them.
Right, and it just makes sense to have a villain within the circle as opposed to an outside villain,
Right.
like with the witch hunters.
Right.
Not to say that they won't come back, but it's good to have a little tension within our
Circle.
main characters.
Right.
Well,
And
they blew that tension up today.
to say the
Among
least.
other things.
Amongst other things,
There's
Faye
some
is
blowing
sort
up.
of blowing up the school in more ways than one.
Yeah.
I mean, Lee comes to her, and granted, he might not have the best intentions in mind.
And she chooses to trust him anyway. And you would think as a witch, like this is what bothers me with television shows. You would think with this added power that you would have a little bit more intuition.
Or common sense.
That too. And you just...
But she's sort of blindsided, I feel like. She
Yeah. Dog
is
with a bone.
so exactly. She is so intent on getting her magic back that she will do literally anything.
And of course, I mean, it's this gorgeous man who, like, it doesn't hurt. Like,
Doesn't hurt.
if
It's
he was
bringing
like
you back to his
if he was
dark
some,
lair.
like, hunchback ogre coming in,
Sure.
like, she'd be like, okay, get out of here. But he's
But that's the thing. I would be more apt to trust the hunchback ogre than this like good-looking
human.
stud. Like
No powers.
exactly. Like why not trust the hunchback?
see,
The devil in disguise.
I don't know about the no powers. I feel like
Right.
there's more to be learned about Lee.
Well, yeah,
I can see
mean,
that, yeah.
he is definitely a little shady. We saw that when he was performing this like voodoo extraction spell, black magic extraction spell,
Mm-hmm.
that he cut Faye's back 5 times and wiped it up with a napkin, and he put that in his
Kept it.
pocket.
yeah.
So clearly, he did say to Faye, "I'll ask a favor of you at some point."
Right. And then
And then he said, "When I get you into bed."
Oh yeah,
It's
that
not
line.
going to be for a favor
he
or
didn't say
something like
anything.
that.
No,
But
he
he said,
said
when we have
sex, it will not be because of a deal.
It's pretty racy.
That was
Right?
a
For
good
teen
line.
show.
That was really a
I
good
like
line.
needed a fan and a glass of lemonade.
I love the glass of lemonade reference.
And a fainting couch.
Yeah. I was like an old Southern lady wanting to drop at that. That was
That was a really that was a sexy line. Like
Oh.
even
I mean,
I was
it was
just
great.
like,
It was a good line.
oh, okay.
yeah.
When we have sex, like I don't even know if I'm ever bold enough to say something like that to someone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let alone to a teenage girl.
You forget they're teenagers.
Like, you
Oof.
forget that they're teenagers
Yeah, you
because they
forget.
speak like adults. But this is the CW, and they are what, sophomores in high
Oh
school?
my gosh, exactly. So how old is this Lee guy?
He's of age.
I don't know.
He's
We
not
don't
in
know.
school.
We don't know how old he is, but either way, he does not have the best intentions in mind. Whether
No.
it be
He knows more than he's
he
letting
knows
on.
a lot more because he was able to hunt Faye down, 1, 2, get to school and find out that she's clearly in a circle. It's more than just Faye and Melissa. He was like, there's the blonde girl. What did he call him? He was like the emo kid,
the blonde girl, and
the blonde
good-
girl,
and the
the Girl Scout.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. He was like, you're clearly in a circle. Just by seeing them,
Right.
it knows who's a witch and who isn't a witch.
Yeah.
So clearly there's a lot more going on there than he's leading on to believe. And Faye's just along for the ride, going blindly.
Right. Well, he's dangling this golden carrot in front of her, and she's gonna take
she
him
went
wherever he
for it.
wants to go.
Right. And so they go through with the spell, and he's like, all we need is something personal of hers, and you have to be close to her. So Faye lures her to the dance and is like, I'll be there, I'll give you what you want, whatever, to steal her magic. And lo and behold, the spell goes wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is very,
Supposedly, I don't know. He could have.
Well, he
could've
could have
known.
done something. He could have very well known that it was not going to do exactly what he thought it was going to do. He did explain that he was like, oh, well, maybe her magic is too strong for this type of spell, which
I think he was lying. At
I
that
don't
point.
believe.
Yeah.
And he sort of forced Faye to hurt her friends.
Yeah.
Right.
In
It
friends
was
in
all
quotes.
for it. Yeah. He was like, well, you have the power. I mean,
I got you what you wanted. It may
Yeah.
not be the results that you were expecting. And I loved her line at the end. She was like, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, except you were trying to hurt Cassie.
Well, he said it wouldn't hurt.
yeah, she did ask. Would
Initially,
it
she
hurt
said,
her?
"Well, it hurt her," and he initially said, "No, it shouldn't."
It shouldn't, but that should immediately send up a red flag and be like, well, it shouldn't, but it might.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could. Yeah.
There's
no
a strong
guarantees.
possibility that
She just
No
wanted
somebody's
guarantees
gonna
from
get
the
hurt.
garage voodoo priest that it's
Right?
not gonna hurt.
And he screwed up last time. Why are you going to believe him the second time around?
Thank
Yeah.
you. But we gotta go with it. We gotta go.
I mean,
with
we
it,
gotta
'cause she
go
has
with
to
it.
mess
Like,
up.
I think what it is one, she's so hungry for it, and two, the way that he was able to discern what they were and know what they were, I think, is what led her to trust him.
right.
Because, or at least believe that he could do it. Not so much trust him, but know that he could do what he said he was going to do because he was able to realize who the witches were.
Right.
And he seems to have this knowledge regardless of whether he has the power. So I'm going to say that that's what led her to go along with it and believe that it would work. Obviously, it was still foolish. And
It was extremely foolish. I mean, and how we're left with Faye going back to him
it's
saying that
dangerous.
she's done with the circle
Yeah.
and they're dead to her, basically, is a very dangerous place to leave it.
And shouldn't she already tell that her with solo power is dangerous to begin with? Like she had solo power for less than 5 minutes, walked into a dance and sets this thing on fire.
Well,
like how is
either
that?
way, when she had solo power before they bound the circle, she was completely reckless with it.
Yeah,
Right.
she almost killed that girl.
Yes.
Exactly.
She did kill the girl.
Yeah, they had to bring
Yeah,
her
they
back
had to
to
bring her
life.
back.
That's right.
So it's sort of a telltale sign that this girl is like a little bit of a loose cannon.
Little.
Just a hair.
Yeah.
You know, not too crazy.
She's like
She's
Kim
only
Jong-il.
killed one person.
And now that she doesn't care about her circle.
She's gonna kill everybody.
What I do think, though, that was interesting was at the end when she was so angry at the way they were treating her, and she was like, when I realized it was hurting you, I stopped it.
Right.
And she was like, I sort of felt for her because she's like, when she said, how does this bitch get a free pass and I'm the one burned at the stake?
Right.
Like, Cassie has
Yeah.
done so many things that have brought danger to them too, regardless of whether they're accidents. So I sort of did feel for her in that moment. She's like, I
did.
tried to stop it. She's like, when I knew it was hurting you, I stopped it.
Right. But I think the huge.
I think what she was saying, even though like it was out of her need to get power, that's what did it. It was still also an accident. Like
It
in her
was.
mind, she didn't know that it was going to hurt them.
Right.
So it's like Cassie has never done anything but accidentally bring danger to them, and realistically, Faye only accidentally brought them the danger as well. So I did understand
But
her.
Faye's like accidental harming of them was brought upon for selfish reasons.
Right.
And she was doing it for her own personal gain.
True. And Cassie has a clean slate with them, like they don't
Cassie's
have
a
any
new girl.
history.
Yeah.
Whereas Faye has had a history even before magic as being a bad girl.
Right.
And so it's always just like, well, here you go again.
She's an
you know?
easy target.
Yeah.
Granted. But
Yeah.
you reap what you sow.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't want to hurt anybody,
But you did.
but you did. And this isn't the first time.
And you didn't have to do this.
Exactly.
You didn't have to.
You could have come to your circle and been like, look, hey, I want solo magic, which they all know. I'm not going to get it. So let's just practice magic together.
Yeah. And
As
don't-
opposed
and
to
don't-
her saying, like, I just want a little magic to play with.
Yeah, yeah.
This isn't a game, Faye. People's lives are at stake, clearly. And you're a
then-
psychopath.
Completely. And then to take it from a member of your circle. Like it's not,
Right.
it's not like you just gained solo power. You purposely took power from someone who's supposed to be, your friend.
Right.
Right. True.
So yes, we're gonna turn on you. Although I did feel bad, and I wrote like, man, does Cassie always get a free pass?
I feel
Is that
bad too,
true?
but you know what? Cassie is new to all of this.
Yeah.
She came into it late in the game. She still doesn't have complete control over her white magic as opposed to her dark magic, which is sort of taking over. But
And she tries to do the
she's
right thing.
trying to learn, and she's doing the best that she can, I think,
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
Yeah.
And speaking of Cassie, she spent this entire episode trying to learn about her father.
Yep.
Which is also kind of very similar to Faye trying to get solo power, both being driven by sort of dark issues there.
Yeah, and I think despite the fact that Cassie may be looking into the dark magic side of her family, she is doing it with the best intentions at
Right.
mind.
She wants
Yes.
to try and neutralize it and understand.
Right, and I think
Where it came
if
from.
not just neutralize it, just understand more of
it.
it and maybe learn how to control her dark magic. And I think it's very compelling to watch her try and find anything she can about her family's history
Yeah.
because she was taken out of the town at such a young age and shielded by so much of this. Speaking of which,
All of
where
it.
the hell is her grandmother?
I literally wrote that down.
Yes.
Last week she was off at a healer's and
Right.
And this week, no mention.
Still living at Diana's.
yeah.
Either way, because that would be the best person to go to, obviously, as
Yes.
opposed to Ethan. But she goes to the town hall, and I think this week she got sort of distracted by Adam, who is looking at her all dreamily and telling her, I'll help you out. Let's go look at the city's records. And
Yeah, he was a lot more aggressive this
he was
episode.
very aggressive. He is gung-ho about getting into Cassie's pants.
He was like, Diana, look, you need to let that
Tell
girl
her it's
know
okay.
it is cool, okay?
That's very ballsy to go to your ex-girlfriend to be like, look, I want to kiss Cassie. Can you hook it up?
I know,
you.
essentially.
Handle that. I was like, whoa, Adam.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, good for him finally taking the reins to get what he wants. And we finally got to see Ethan. Ethan's been gone for a long
know.
time. And I have a little interview with him. But as we know, he's always in the back of the bar
Yeah.
watching
I love
over
that.
everything.
Back of the bar.
Well, yeah, because he's not actually there. But you know, he's watching over his restaurant, whether or not he's on screen.
Right.
Now, see, I took it as he was always drinking, as in the
Well,
back of
he
the bar.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although he has been sober for a while.
For 2 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah.
He said that.
2 weeks. I've been sober
He
for 2
wants
weeks.
to be a better dad.
He wants to be a better man.
And got teary-eyed at the mention of Cassie's mom.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot to be discovered, I think, still about Ethan and his role that he plays on the show.
Right.
I think they sort of put his character to the back burner now for a while, but he is, I think, going to be instrumental in the next few episodes into telling the story of what happened possibly 16 years ago and possibly who Cassie's lineage is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know that he seems to sense that something's going on because at the end, after the whole accident, everyone was outside and he rushed up and found Adam and said, I couldn't find you. And he's like, Adam says, yeah, that was really weird in there, and trying to cover it, like brush it away. You see Ethan look at Cassie.
Right, because
And-
she did say something to him in the dance in the hallway where she was like, I think I'm my father's daughter.
Right.
And he told
So
her,
now
you're not
he's-
defined by your parents.
Right.
You
he's
can be
worried that-
whomever.
I think he thought she did it.
I think so,
Was
too.
the look that
'Cause they were
that's
just
how I
talking about-
understood that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the fire.
And I think he's finally becoming attuned into the fact that the children have figured out that they have magic
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that they've made a circle and they've bound it, because this might have, you could tell with the look in his eye that this fire at the school sort of reminded him of the fire at the boathouse.
I think it's so interesting is dark magic always seems to be like with the fire. Like the dark magic always creates
Always starts a fire.
I definitely think that's the most dramatic way to show it on television.
Yeah,
You know?
it is.
Like dark magic, fire, death, heat, orange, red. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Those are the colors of evil. But Cassie finds out that the house, in all her research,
Right.
Right.
which doesn't take her very far, the house that the kids have been practicing their magic in is sort of their like little witch house her father used to own,
Yeah.
or still does. If he is dead, if he's still alive, Cassie technically would be the next owner. And she finds in the basement a symbol, which is a symbol that she remembers from her book as being what we later find out is a symbol to extract or channel dark magic.
Right.
Now, whether or not she's toying with channeling her dark magic, I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea. How do you guys feel
I
about
think
her?
she was
like-
trying to extract it, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she says towards the end that she thinks that her dad was trying to figure out a way to extract his own. And that's what he was trying to do. And this is more for predictions, and I have a feeling that his attempts at extraction are very closely linked to what happened 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll talk about that more in a
interesting. We
little
will
bit.
talk about that in
But so I think
predictions.
that's I think more than channeling, she wants to try and see if that can get rid of it and put it somewhere harmless.
Although I do think that it's just a thought, because she did mention last week how she liked how that power, like
Right,
she
that
likes
it was
and so-
dangerous, but it was fun.
So
felt good.
I think she may want to get rid of it just so that she's not taken over by it. But at the same time, I think a part of her wants to figure out just if she
Yeah.
can control it.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's the bigger thing.
I
is
think
to try
that
to
is
figure
the
out how
bigger
to
thing.
harness it and control it, and not let it control her.
And I think the most important thing that happened in this episode is that we saw Adam and Cassie makeout session, backlit,
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
right? You
So
saw that the light?
beautiful.
I was like, ooh.
and then Jake walks back in.
Dun, dun.
But the close up.
Dun, 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 dun. Jake is back.
Yes.
Looking so good. He just has that
good.
that stoic, like, it works.
Angel face. But last saw Jake leaving town with the witch hunters, so he's back. Whether he's back for good, I mean, we know he's back for good because he has been made a series regular. But what his intentions
Well,
are,
he did save Cassie and Melissa.
he did save Cassie and Melissa, or so we think.
He did.
I think he did. I
Because
think
they
he
showed
was
the
one to
boots
save
again
it.
as
Yeah,
he walked down.
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. It was the boots. It was Jake.
It's the
Jake
boots.
saved him. He's good. He's back.
Yeah.
I think that's everything, right? Is there anything else you guys feel like we missed?
No, that was pretty much the episode.
Right?
Yeah, that was it.
All right. So we're gonna.
Oh, I have a question,
Yeah.
but I don't remember it. It just slipped my mind. I meant to write it down when I thought it, and it went away.
Well, we're gonna jump to commercial break. You think about your commercial, and we'll be back. Whatever your question. We'll be back with your Secret Circle news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
So creepy.
Live for it.
That is the smoothest commercial every time it gets to me.
All right. Well, I think we
Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna jump right into your AfterBuzz TV news and gossip for Secret Circle.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Billy.
All right, well, veering into the darker corners of Cassie's power has been a welcome challenge for former Life Unexpected star Britt Robertson.
P.S. If you've never watched the show, it was so good.
The first
Continue.
season was. Last week's new episode turned up the evil volume as viewers got a chance to see the Teen Witch in action, once with a dream sequence and again in a tense scene that almost resulted in Adam's strangulation. But while playing the darker moments have been fun, Robertson admits it's not something she'd want to see take over her character's life. It's cool to see every now and then, she says. Of course, I don't want to see Cassie be fully evil. It's difficult because you don't want to shock the audience with something that's completely out of left field, so there has to be a gradual build. And build it has, with more to come. Quote, at this point, she's been given the opportunity and power, and she can't deny that. It's something she has to take on from this point forward, and she'll have to take on that responsibility. But it will be a struggle for sure, she says.
Ah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So it sort of seems like she's going to embrace her dark magic
Right, and
in
we've
the
talked
future.
about this. I keep talking. I know I keep harping on it, but I that's like so exciting to me for them to put their lead in a position to potentially be the villain.
Right.
I like it,
I like
I
that.
think it's
and
fantastic.
yeah,
and it seems like it's going there.
yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Well, Adam Harrington teases details from Chance Harbour's perennial over-talkative daddy witch. The next 3 episodes, Ethan goes through a lot, he says. I'm really excited about them. Ethan may have his own ideas about who he wants to ally with. Charles and Dawn think they're just going to use Ethan as a pawn, but Ethan starts to get his own ideas about what he's going to do. I've always maintained that town drunk Ethan Conant is wasted in the back room of the bar in more ways than one. We've seen him wax lyrical about messing with fate. We've seen him break Diana's heart, and we've seen him drink a lot. And even if it's all done in a sexy way, there's still a lot of blank space surrounding this character that could be filled in any number of delicious ways. But now with 3 Ethan storylines about to hit TV screens starting this week, it seems the fire may be well and truly lit under Ethan Conant at last. Quote, Ethan's been the guy in the background, explains Adam. He's the write-off. He's the drunk father. He's not really there for his son. He's been saying things he shouldn't, and we just write him off as the drunk. What starts to happen is that what we're assuming may be going on may not actually be the real truth. What we're assuming with Ethan? The interviewer says. He pauses, considering his answer. Ethan might not be a drunk because he's a drunk. Ethan may be trying to forget a lot of things, which is really exciting when we start to see what they are, which I can't talk about, which makes it even more exciting. The internet is abuzz with hints that Cassie and Jake will pull not just the other Circle members, but Charles, Dawn, and Ethan too into an extremely dangerous situation in an attempt to finally discover more about that day. Could the events of Fire and Ice and Witness act as a prelude to some enormous and cataclysmic event? Adam says, quote, I can tell you that where part of the episode takes place was really spooky. I can't tell you where or how it fits in, but it's dark, it's haunted, it's wild, and it has to do with what happened 16 years ago. When we, the cast, were all there, we were just blown away by how this location fits into the story, and by things we discovered about what happened 16 years ago. We've always assumed, and this is something Andrew Miller has said, that Ethan had nothing to do with what happened 16 years ago. And we start to find out that maybe that's not the case.
I like this.
Interesting. I think that sort of sets us up perfectly
Yes.
for predictions.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What the hell is this?
What?
We got Inside Edition.
It's my breaking news because I have some news
Tell
for
me.
you this week.
Oh, tell me.
It has nothing to do with Secret Circle, but it has everything to do
Awesome.
with us.
Okay.
Okay.
David, I will let you guess what it may be.
Say something.
Does it
Spotlight is
have
on
to
you.
do anything with the Golden Globes?
No, actually, no.
Okay.
This news comes that for those of you who don't know, our new website is up. It's still the same link, AfterBuzzTV.com. And so from now on, all of our shows will be streamed from there. So next week, you no longer have to go to ustream.tv /AfterBuzzTV. Just go to AfterBuzzTV.com. We're making it simpler. It's a lot easier to find your shows, whatever shows you love,
Nice.
and get all your episodes.
Terrific.
And so you'll stream there. We will put up a thing on Ustream saying, hey, we'll make it fun. I don't want to ruin the joke because Kevin and I have been writing a fun joke for that. But
Okay.
I did want to say that to you fans. So spread the word. Let your friends know. If your friend doesn't know about AfterBuzz TV, just say, hey, all your shows are now AfterBuzz TV. He's like, what's that? Just be like, oh, you don't know about AfterBuzz TV? I don't want to talk to you. You're lame.
Don't say that to your friends. Don't tell your friends they're lame.
well,
Tell them
they're-
to tune into AfterBuzz.
Yes, tell them that. Tell them that. But anyways, so I just wanted to make sure we got that news and gossip out.
Amazing.
And now on to your predictions.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So excited.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
See how the lights even went?
I did.
I love it. It's amazing.
I watched the Faye.
That was good. Thank
I love
you.
it.
Thank you. All right. So what did we see?
Wait, I even have another
Tell me.
surprise for you.
You
How
are ruining
about I
everything.
throw in a caller to help you out with predictions?
Hey,
Shut
let's
up.
do it.
All right, caller, you're on the line.
Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Casey from Columbus.
Hey, Casey from
Casey.
Columbus. Thank you for joining us.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Thank you. How are you?
Pretty good.
So what'd you think of
so
tonight's
what'd you
show,
think?
Casey?
Oh, what was that?
What'd you think of tonight's show?
I thought it was pretty cool. I think the only thing that bothers me is the whole Adam and Cassie thing. I'm not really buying it. Like, I know he kind of likes her, but I think he's taking the whole Faye thing like too much. Like, even before he kissed her, he was talking about like Faye's important to him. I don't know. I'm not really buying the relationship, and it's just like not appealing to me. So.
Did you feel as awkwardly about their kiss as I did? Because their kiss to me seemed very strange.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that there's a weird lack of chemistry between the two actors. I definitely am much more interested whenever Cassie's interacting with Jake.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of viewers, I'm assuming you probably pulled more towards that relationship rather than her with Adam.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think that they've sort of responded to that. I think that, I mean, fingers crossed that's why Chris Zilka is coming back as Jake, as a series regular, because I think that they realized that that worked much better.
And that Thomas Dekker isn't a great romantic lead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, the first episode, like, you know, they played up that chemistry between them, but then once they let it go, it went. It's gone.
Yeah.
It is not exist.
So how did you feel about Faye tonight? What were your thoughts on her?
I don't know. She's just like really weird. I don't know. She's kind of like, I don't know, really power hungry. I'm not really sure why, and I'm like trying to figure out exactly why she wants the power so bad. And it's just like her character is kind of becoming really, really weird. So I don't know where she's going, and I don't know.
Yeah, she is sort of, I would say, spiraling out of control in her quest for this power. I do think I understand where her hunger for the power comes from, because she was the one who was so reluctant to close the circle, and what that meant in terms of solo power. But it is, as we saw this week, I do think that it's veering into sort of much more dangerous territory than it even was before. And I think, I mean, hopefully we'll see, I don't know, she thinks she's left the circle, so I don't know what road Faye's going down.
For now.
We'll have to wait and see. But we were jumping right into predictions. Do you have any predictions as to what's going to happen next week?
I mean, I think obviously the truth about what happened 16 years ago finally we'll actually get to see what's happening.
Do you think that we're going to get like a full truth or just a half truth?
I think from the looks of it, like kind of like maybe a little foreshadow. I'm not sure if like the full truth is going to come out. It's kind of confusing because it kind of shows like apparently he wants her to be in his dream or something, and I don't know if they can like.
Well, they showed in the preview that Jake says that he was there,
right,
16 years ago.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird. I didn't really understand that. They can like change it, or I don't know. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what I sort of guessed from that was that Jake was so young that he doesn't really know what he saw.
Right.
Yeah.
But if somebody could go into his memory and see the memory, what he saw as an older, they could understand what he looked at and help him understand what he saw, which is sort of what I took from that.
Me too.
Like he was just too young because he was only like 2 years old when it happened. He's only 2 or 3 years older than the circle.
Right.
So I think, I mean, think back to things that you sort of remember when you were 3. You don't really understand like what they were.
Nothing. I remember nothing.
Right. Right. It's almost
But
shocking
they're in there.
But they're there somewhere. And so if she could go in there, and if this new ability that we didn't know that they have, this sort of Harry Potter-esque looking at memories, which I'm very interested to see this road we're going down next week.
And going back to what you were saying, Casey, about it probably just being like a foreshadow, I think it may just be just kind of the story from one person or two people's angles, like what they saw. So maybe you'll only see what the little 2-year-old saw from his corner of the room or wherever he was situated.
And that'll only open up more questions.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything particular about tonight's episode that you wanted to discuss?
I actually didn't really notice it till like after, but like Don and Charles weren't in it. So I was kind of like
Yeah.
curious
good
as to, like,
call.
why, because like last week they were like, they kind of had like a big part, well, not big, but like an important part of that episode. So I was kind of like curious as to why they weren't part of this one. It's like,
Well, I do think that if we're jumping into the past in next week's episode, that Don and Charles are going to be playing a larger part in the episode.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I did notice that when we were watching. I was sort of like, oh, there's no Jane. We haven't seen her for a while. There's no Don and Charles this week.
But Ethan is
But we
back.
got Ethan back, so it was sort of like a give and take.
And we got Melissa back.
And we
Yeah.
got Melissa back.
So I think it was
And Jake.
there wasn't much room for them by way of letting these other people factor in so that they could all be a part of what's coming next.
Right.
I think that was what that was about. Any other thoughts you've got for us?
Oh yeah, I just had a quick question. Like, what were you guys' thoughts about like Jake coming back? Because I know last time he promised Adam that he wouldn't come back, so I'm kind of wondering like if like the witch hunters got to him, like if his intentions are good or bad. Like, yeah, he saved Cassie, but you know, you never know with Jake. So I'm kind of like wondering like why exactly he's come back. Like, I know it's not just like help the circle. There's like something else. So I was wondering what you guys thought about him coming back.
Well, the romantic in me wants to say that he came back for Cassie.
Right. I mean, that's
That's
what
what
we all
that's
wanna
what I
think.
want to say.
But I think at the end of the day, Jake does have other intentions as to coming back. I mean, he's never been the best guy. He doesn't have. We saw him in the first part of the season having really dark intentions, but I think at this point he is coming back for the better of the circle.
I hope.
I mean, I could
hope,
only hope
yeah.
if they made him a series regular, they would have to make him one of the good guys.
Right.
And maybe he learned something that he can, contribute.
them with.
Yeah.
So-
Right, and we did see sort of at the end of the first half of the first season that he didn't necessarily want to go with the witch hunters, but he did for the
Sure.
better good.
Exactly. He made that deal.
He did make that deal.
Yeah, I think
To
we
save
have.
For
Cassie.
Do you think that you think that whole witch hunter saga is like over now, or
I think it's done for now. I
don't think for good.
Not
I don't
for
think
good.
for
Not for
good,
good.
but I think for now, I think they've sort of been playing up this whole like good versus evil, Cassie
Yeah.
versus Faye thing, and I think that's how we're gonna end the season. But the witch hunters will be back.
Yeah.
And we're also obviously going to delve into what happened 16 years ago. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. Well, thank you for calling in, Casey,
thank you very much.
and hopefully you can join us again next week.
Casey, are you spreading the good word of AfterBuzz?
Am I what?
Spreading the good word of AfterBuzz on behalf of these guys.
I am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for calling in, Casey.
Thank
We'll
you
talk
for
to you
calling,
soon,
Casey.
okay?
Have a good night.
You
You
too.
too.
Well, from everyone here at AfterBuzz TV, from myself, David Schifilliti.
Oh, we got a shout out. We got a shout out.
we have a quick
We got
shout out.
shout out.
Do it.
And it's now after midnight. So to all my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, happy Founders Day.
Happy Founders
Happy
Day, everybody. So from myself, David Schifilliti, Mia Smith, Billy Nellis, Phil Svitek, Kevin Undergar, Maria Menounos, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again next week, 11 Pacific Standard Time.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@afterbuzztv.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.